I did not grow up thinking I was going to be, a part of the Midwest Clinic team. I didn't even know that was an option. But because I followed the path, I just kept moving forward. Eventually it led me to here, and I couldn't be happier. I know this is where I'm supposed to be.
Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to San Antonio. We are on the final day of the Texas Music Educators Association Clinic Convention. We have the great privilege of sitting down with Kelly Bell, who's the Executive Director of the Midwest Clinic. And Kelly, day 3, we've made it.
We did it, yay!
Thanks for taking the time to sit down with us. Yeah. And Kelly, if I can say, we've been, Ensemble Block as a team has been in Midwest the past couple of years, and it's just been an incredible event. As all music educators know, getting to travel to Chicago and you get to see your friends from all over the world congregate for one weekend. It's a pretty special event. Yeah. But for the students or the parents or maybe some aspiring career changes, if they don't know what the Midwest Clinic is, could you just let them know a little bit about how that works?
Yeah, so the Midwest Clinic, we are celebrating our 79th Midwest Clinic this year. We started in 1946, so we've been around for a hot second. Always been in Chicago, always the week before Christmas, which some people love. It's a great way to kick off the holidays. Some people hate. They're like, come on now, Chicago, December, couldn't you pick some lovely month like July? Right. But it's a tradition, and it's not going to change. It's 80 years, almost 80 years of doing it in December in Chicago. We're steadfast in that. But the Midwest Clinic started off as it was a reading band, basically. It was a bunch of band directors from Chicago that got together right after the war, and they wanted to kind of get their heads back in the game, and so I talked to a couple of publishers, asked them to bring some new music that they could read through for their ensembles, and that's where it started. It was in a gymnasium YMCA. And then it became so popular, more and more directors wanted to be a part of it, and it grew and grew and grew to the point where more publishers, more instrument companies started to get involved. They added a teaching component where they started offering clinics on pedagogy and strategies to help those directors be better in their classroom. And eventually it's grown to the point where 80 years later, we have over 16,000 attendees. We still hold true to the origins of the event. A big component of what we do is showcasing new music by publishers. It's one of the premier destinations for people to hear new music being performed by some of the top ensembles in the world. We have clinics that are offered by master educators, talking about everything from fundamentals to conducting techniques to how to become a better composer. It covers the gamut. Then we also have over 400 exhibits, and it's all geared toward instrumental music education. So it's really band, orchestra, jazz, chamber, percussion. Yeah, so it's just instrumentally focused, but it's the whole spectrum of instrumental music education. So it's a really cool place to come and congregate and meet. And honestly, I think that's one of the big takeaways we hear from people every year, is that the people that they get to meet, the connections that they make, they're life-changing. First time I went to the Midwest Clinic, I was a brand new teacher, and my mind was blown. It truly exploded my perspective of what music education could be. And it took me to a whole new level. So it's truly an honor now to be the executive director for the Midwest Clinic, being a part of that legacy.
And I'm sure you just woke up one morning and you said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to school, and then someday I'm going to become the ED of the Midwest Clinic.
Yeah, exactly. This is a job. So I grew up small town in northern Indiana. Yeah. I started playing the violin. I was a Suzuki kid when I was 5 years old.
And was it mom or dad going to classes with you?
Mom. Yeah. Yep. She quit when I surpassed her at light zero. she was like, "You got this, kid."
She's competitive, or
no.
Like, I can't.
She was
Kelly's
like,
smoking me every week. I can't put the hours in I need to practice anymore.
Exactly. Although she jokingly says, even now, she's in her 70s. She's like, I think I might get my violin out again.
Oh, it's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah,
we do it together.
Yeah, exactly. So both my parents are educators, and so it's kind of the family biz. And so I knew I wanted to be a teacher, and music was just like that natural flow for me because I was in it from such a young age. And so after—
Were you the gold star student? You always had your folder, your music is, you've got your pencil on the stand, you're marking everything.
I had the pencils for the people behind me too. Yeah.
I could totally see that, Kelly.
Is it that obvious?
Yeah, I got you.
So anyway, I went to Ball State University for my undergrad in music education, which is coincidentally where my parents went and my grandparents went for education.
Yeah. Oh, it's literally
it's
in the
deep.
blood.
It's deep. Yeah. I really had no choice in the matter. But then after I graduated college, there was not a lot of teaching positions for strings in Indiana, and I interviewed tons of places and just didn't have a lot of luck, which is, really frustrating. But then I met a lady. Her name was Marcia Neal. She was the fine arts supervisor for Clark County School District in Las Vegas, Nevada. And at that moment, Las Vegas was exploding. They had over 600 teacher vacancies at the beginning of the school year. Yeah. So
from new schools or just a shortage of
both.
Yeah.
They were opening new schools and people were transitioning to other places. And so they were eager to bring young teachers out there. She was actively recruiting and I was actively desperate for a job. So it was like a match made in heaven. So
this is right out of school when you finished?
Right out of school. So I grew up in a cornfield. Yeah. I went to school basically in a cornfield. And then I was like, you know what? I'm 22.
Vegas, baby.
I'm moving to Vegas. My parents were horrified, but supportive.
Yeah, sure.
So I moved out to Las Vegas and I took a position as an assistant orchestra director at a large program. So I got to teach one orchestra class. The entirety of the rest of my schedule was teaching classroom guitar, which is cool.
Yes.
Except for like my 4 weeks of guitar instruction and mus ed, whatever, 2 years prior, really set me up for success for a full schedule of teaching guitar.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Because my guitar teaching experience, right out of school, you get the teaching assignment in the mail.
Yeah.
I opened my teaching assignment and instrumental band.
Yeah.
So
it's
concert
an instrument.
band.
You're qualified.
Concert band, AP Music Theory, marching band, jazz band. Okay, beginning folk guitar.
Yep.
And it's a single sheet of white paper. And I remember I was sitting in my, I just moved there and I was in my no furniture in the apartment. And I look at it and I go, and I turn the piece of paper over and it's blank. And I turn it back over and I just, if you could cut to the wide shot in the apartment, I just kind of look around.
Guess I should learn how to play guitar now.
Well, I called my fine arts director and I said, I'm sorry if during my interview I gave the impression that I played the guitar, but I do not play the guitar. And she said, you're going to be fine. We've got the books, we've got the curriculum, we've got a few months, like, get going.
Get a guitar.
Yeah, and it's true, but you
figured it out.
Yeah,
so I survived, I not only survived, I really fell in love with it.
Yes, same.
It was such a cool space that was so different from what I had grown up in the traditional band orchestra setting. And the kids that were there, completely different, which I again, fell in love with them.
Yeah.
And
the other parts of the school that aren't in band and orchestra, you've got the jocks and the cheerleaders and the outliers who don't have a place to normally fit in, right?
A lot of skaters.
Yes, exactly.
But it became one of my favorite components of what I taught. And eventually the program grew and I was given an opportunity to take a head director position at another school. And they had a small guitar program and I was like, nope, we're fixing that. I don't teach anymore, but if I ever went back to the classroom, honestly, that would be the first thing I would do is start a guitar program because I'm such a believer now.
Yes.
So taking that, I don't know what I'm doing experience, embracing it and then making it something that truly became a passion of mine. It was really, really a cool thing.
Right, and periodically, I think for all teachers, if you can remind yourself what it feels like to be in that beginner's mindset.
To feel that struggle.
And then when you finally get it, and you go, oh, this is what the students are feeling when we give them those moments in class as well. So.
Yeah, for me, it was the bigger message that I took away from it was, the beauty of embracing hard things. And also, it started to tell that part of my brain that was like, you have to be a complete person before you can show up. Like the house has to be finished, decorated, and perfect before company comes over. And I started to understand that that's not the case. Sometimes you can have like an inkling or something, a little something to hold on to. And if you take the risk, a lot of times it'll be okay. Yeah. It's going to be hard, no doubt about it. But sometimes those are the most amazing moments. And that really became a theme in my life. Like I had lots of opportunities to reinforce that idea. Probably the next opportunity to reinforce that idea was when I took the head director position at that new school. It was a program that was very neglected. There was not a lot of care put into the instruction of the students. They were just there to kind of have fun, hang out. And then when I came in and I was like, we're going to make music and we're going to go to festivals and we're going to do all these things. And they were like, full stop. That's not what we do here. We come, we play along with the track. We don't perform, we don't compete.
Is this coming from the students or the administration?
The students. No, the administration was really pushing for
like, let's go.
Yeah, let's make a program.
We need a gold star teacher.
Yeah. And these kids were like, we don't subscribe.
Yeah.
And you know, there's only so much you can do to convince those kids to change that mindset. And the first 2 years were really rough. But once the juniors and seniors graduated and my freshmen and sophomores became the leaders, then you started to see that turnover. And by the time I finished there, and, you know, they were doing great. They were getting ones at festivals and, you know, really excelling. And it was a great program. And just to get that reinforcement of, you know, okay, I've never had to face this before, but, you know, I had a wonderful support team around me. My administrators were like, we understand what you're doing. It's okay. We got your back. And so we were able to take those risks and really make something amazing out of it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, did you know that you were going to move outside of teaching? Because you come from a family of teaching.
Sure,
You have such an extensive background in professional development and educational programs. But when did you start thinking, well, maybe there's something else out there?
Yeah, so I got my master's in educational leadership because I've always been drawn to the administrative side of things, but thinking I was going to stay in education. And then it just so happened that one of my college mentors, Tim Lotzenheiser, came up to me. I mean,
I'm sorry, who? No, I'm kidding.
Dr. Tim.
We'll put a link down below if you don't know who
Tim
Lotzenheiser is.
So he was one of my college professors, and he works for a company, Ensemble, that was starting their division of education and really like investing in it deeply. They've been doing stuff in education for a long time, but they wanted to really start a team of people that were going to focus solely on supporting educators. And he called me up and he said, hey, we're doing this thing. Do you want to be a part of it, like ground level?
Wow.
And I mean, it was definitely another one of those like, I'm not ready for that. Oh my gosh, no, I'm a teacher. I come from a long line of teachers. I don't work for business. I do nonprofit. I don't do for-profit. It's like a completely different world to me. But you know, I remember those moments, those hard moments, right, where I took risks and the reward was so amazing, and I was like, this smells similar. So I took a leap of faith. Exactly. Yep. Moved back to Indiana. And started working for Consumers Division of Education. So then I ran their educational outreach program that dealt with placing clinicians in schools. I also ran the summer workshop, Consumer Institute. So I started to really develop my event planning chops.
Yes.
You know, spoiler alert, that was going to come in handy later.
Right.
And then also I helped run the VIP program. So bringing in directors and teaching them about the manufacturing process, learning about how these instruments were made. And it was an amazing experience. I mean, networking overload. I got to meet so many incredible people through that experience. And I did that for about 7 years. Yeah. And it was wonderful. I didn't leave teaching because I didn't love teaching. I absolutely loved it. It was just, this was an opportunity to invest more in teachers. And truly my passion is, you know, supporting this wonderful world that has changed my life so immensely. And if it's in a classroom or if it's sitting behind a computer, you know, figuring out how to plan an event, it doesn't matter to me as long as I feel like I'm making that impact.
So the beauty of coming in at that time when Dr. Tim was spinning everything up was you got to watch how it got built.
Right.
And I'm sure there are many moments where you said, well, I think it should be this, this, and this. And he goes, I imagine. He was like, sure, Kelly, go for it.
I mean, a little bit. But it was also a lot of like, imagine you walk into a house that's completely pitch black. You don't know, you've never been in that house before. And it was a lot of like figuring out where the walls were by running into them. And
that's a real thing though.
Figuring out where the furniture was by stubbing your toe. Yeah. But I mean, again, it still followed that trend of doing hard things, learning from making mistakes. Like, I didn't have all the answers. I'd never done this before, but what came out of it was just such a cool experience and such an amazing opportunity that, it emboldened me to go and make those risks. Like to charge into the room without having the light on or the map or knowing where anything was. Because I was like, I'll figure it out because I've done it before. Not this, but a similar thing.
Could you just talk for a moment about this point of your career? Because a lot of students enter school, maybe they say, I like playing my instrument, I might want to teach, but they're not really aware of all the potential opportunities that there are out there in leadership, in industry, things like that. Could you just talk about, like, what, if someone's hearing this and watching this right now, what would you tell them about that?
I would say that everything that you do has relevance. You never know necessarily what you may eventually, but in the moment you may not know what that's going to be leading to. And definitely concepts that I learned in my orchestra program as a kid, I use in my job today. Skill sets and things that I learned. And so even though I knew I was going to be a music teacher, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, that was what I was going to do with my life. When it took a turn, I wasn't afraid to do that because I had such a great toolbox, such a great skill set that I learned through all of the experiences leading up to what I thought I was going to do. And I think that more now than ever before, people are celebrating the vast expanse of opportunities in music, production, composition, so much more stuff through technology, instrument manufacturing and repair. But now even that's getting turned on its ear because you have 3D printing and so much engineering components to that. And I don't even know. I heard somebody say today or this week at TMEA, they were talking about careers in music education, and they're saying in the state of Texas, just this little corner of the world, that I think teaching and performance, it accounts for like 15% of jobs in music. The other 85% is not performance and education. That's huge. Right. Music is so much more than performance or education, and all of it is important. And so, I see, my high school and my formative year educational experiences, that was kind of like the gateway that got me into this broader spectrum of things that I didn't even know about. I did not grow up thinking I was going to be, a part of the Midwest Clinic team. I didn't even know that was an option. But because I followed the path, I just kept moving forward. Eventually it led me to here, and I couldn't be happier. I know this is where I'm supposed to be.
Speaking of the Midwest team, the Midwest Clinic is exhibiting here as well.
Yes, we are.
And so can we walk with you as we go back to your booth and see the booth?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
because we've got 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so 7 years, Ensemble, meeting all sorts of great people. When does the Midwest Clinic come knocking and saying, hey, Kelly, we need you?
Yeah, they had their executive director position came open in 2019. And I had a couple of people from my world say, hey, you should apply for that job. And I was like, I mean, not me. That's not what I do.
Similar feeling you felt when Dr. Tim called you.
Correct. Yes. And I was like, wait a second, I've been here before.
And it was good.
It was good.
It's scary, but good.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I'll look into it. But I was really happy with my job. I loved what I was doing. And so on a whim, I looked at the job description, and it was, wanting a background in education, wanting somebody who had event management experience, wanting somebody who understood, how to lead a team in this capacity. And as I was going down, I was like, check. Oh, wow. This sounds like me.
And it's all things you love to do.
It's all things I love to do. And it was a lot of the people that I'd already been working with. So the board of directors were, some of my clinicians. So I had a lot of connection already to this event. I'd also been here to the Midwest Clinic as an educator. I'd been to the Midwest Clinic as an exhibitor. And so, I'd seen all of several of the different facets of what the event was. And so I was like, I'm just going to give it a shot. At the very worst, I make a connection with maybe somebody new and build my relational, community.
Yes.
So I did. I applied for the job, and it was January 1st of 2020. I got a call from Richard Crane, who was then the president, offering me the job.
What were you doing when the phone rang?
I was on vacation in Gatlinburg with my parents.
Totally prepared for that phone call.
You know, it's funny because it was truly life-changing, but it was also like devastating because I was so excited, you know, to start this new journey, but also then I was aware of the fact that I had to say goodbye to this previous life that I had as well. So it was a little bit of a celebration in a morning all at once, which I think is okay. It's good. And it wasn't indicative of this being a bad transition. I think it was a little bit more of a celebration of what was. And I'm really grateful that I got to leave my previous position on such a high note. Very fortunate for that. It doesn't always happen that way, but I was very blessed in that it did.
Left it better than when you got there, right?
Right. And so I was so excited. I was like, let's do this thing. It's the Midwest Clinic. We're starting a new decade. Yeah. And so I was really, really excited for about 3 months until March 2020 rolled around. And then everything came crashing down. Yeah. So 2020 happened. And then, you know, we were scrambling all of a sudden, you know, what are we going to do? We've got bills to pay. We have to keep the lights on. And so in very short order, we became experts at virtual events, or so we like to think. We made it through. Was it the best experience ever? No. Did we survive? Yes.
But you talked about being in the house where the lights are all off and you're stubbing your toes and being, you know, okay with the fact that you don't know what's going on.
100%. Yes. You're picking up on the, see how all of those things prepared. Yeah, absolutely. They all came into play in such a beautiful way. Yep. I could not be more grateful for those rough patches that I'd been through before that helped give me the skills that I needed to get through even more challenging situations, for sure. Yeah.
So we make it out of it.
Yep.
You lead the team out, everyone's feeling good. And when do things start to get a semblance of being back to normal?
I would say that it took about 3 years to get back to a semblance of normal. I would say this past clinic, 2024, was really where we felt like we were pre-pandemic.
Oh, great.
So, and we thought it would take about 5 years.
Oh.
Yeah, which it did.
Right.
So sometimes it just takes time.
Yeah.
You know, on a personal note, when I finished grad school, I was teaching in Chicago.
Yeah.
And so it was local for us, the show.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you take your Thursday, Friday sub-plans, you put those in, and we just drive 20 minutes into town, and we get to walk around and see everybody and see the amazing clinics, the amazing performances. I mean, it's really an incredible event. And when we say people come from all over the world, literally, yes. Yeah. Good friend Brando Tan from Singapore will fly in for this event.
Yeah, right.
And it wasn't until leaving Illinois, and now I live in Northern California, and the Ensemble Block team has been to Midwest now the past 2 years.
Yep.
And just having a different level of appreciation for how much work goes into not only putting on this event, but for all the people to make those travel plans and to carve out the time from the families and come. Yeah. When you go there, you really cherish the time that you're there. And, you know, friends now who are, you know, we're kind of at the age now where our friends are the ones who are applying for things, submitting tapes to get to perform. And it's just such a monumental task of so many amazing talented people coming together in one single location. So it's application season now, right?
That's right. So
how does that work?
Applications open February 1st, and then they close March 7th. And then there's an additional week for all of the evaluations to come in. It's a pretty short window, but part of the reason for that is that basically the decisions we're making right now, we have to implement in December. So it's a really quick turnaround. Yes. And so every single application, whether it's a clinic or a performance application, is reviewed multiple times by members of the board. All the decisions, selections are made in April. People are notified, and then we're off to the races getting ready for everything. So we wrapped up the show in December, and then January 1, next downbeat, here we go.
Zachary Gersh, who plans teammate, says something similar. I say, oh, do you get a chance to breathe and relax after this? He's like, well,
not really.
We take Sunday and then we start planning for next year right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any words of encouragement for people who are thinking about applying, but maybe they say, oh, you know, I don't know if my group's ready yet, or how would you jump over that hurdle?
I would say the first thing, if you're not sure about whether you're ready to apply or not, it would be have have either somebody who's been before or, you know, somebody who's very familiar with the Midwest Clinic come and work with your ensemble. I mean, it's not going to hurt. And also they can give you
might
some—
get better.
Yeah, hey. And also it's a great way to have them give you some feedback about that. A really important thing to keep in mind is that the application happens in one school year and then the performance happens the next school year. So you really need to be thinking about what your ensemble is this year, but also next year. Because if all of your rock stars are leaving, graduating or moving on to high school, and then you're going into performance with, you know, a very green young group, that's not great. So you got to think about that. That's a really important thing when considering whether you're ready to apply or not. And I'm down this way.
So yeah, you graduate your entire class of basses, and you say, hey, any volunteers to switch to double bass?
Exactly. But yeah, I would say that oftentimes it takes multiple applications before you're selected.
But going through that process is a learning experience.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's a wonderful learning experience. Plus, it's something that I always tell people, even if you're not selected, it doesn't mean that you weren't amazing or of a Midwest caliber. We simply only have a limited number of spots, and then once those spots are filled, we have to stop. If you apply and you don't get selected, then apply again. I'm truly encouraging them to apply again. One of the things a lot of people ask is, do they get feedback on their applications? And the answer to that is no. It's simply just not possible for our team to get all of that information, get it disseminated. Our focus is on the performance piece, curating the content for the conference. There are wonderful festivals that provide great feedback, and those are the places that you go if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for that, it's not going to be at the Midwest Clinic. And it's the nature of what we do.
And that's totally fine. There's other opportunities and other
there's great
local festivals
and competitions. State and national competitions that do provide that component. We are very grateful for them and what they do to make that happen. That's just not the Midwest Clinic. Yeah.
And so one of the things that maybe I didn't know when I was younger is that when you go to the Midwest Clinic, and you probably experienced this the first time you went, and you see the powerhouse groups playing, and you go, whoa, that's what it could or should look and sound like. Yeah. And instead of maybe getting discouraged and saying, oh, my students play out of tune or they don't have that kind of sound, I think for most teachers, it's kind of a breath of fresh air saying, oh, we can make it sound and look beautiful like that.
So one of the things that we're trying to create understanding about for attendees is that the Midwest Clinic is it's made of three components. There's the performance aspect, which is really the aspirational aspect, which also has the exposure to new pieces. So it's a great place to see what you could possibly be performing for your ensemble. But the great thing is that you're getting to hear that music performed at its very best. Like, this is what it should sound like. So again, it's aspirational. You can see what you want that end result to be. If you are a young teacher and you see that aspirational thing, you're like, I want to be able to do that. Well, then we have this buffet of clinics that are set up to teach you the skills to become that director. So if you want to get there, here's what you can, here's some steps, some things that you can use to become that director. And then additionally, we have this whole community of support system in the industry side of things in our exhibit hall that have tools to help you become that director. And so you have this aspirational piece, and then there's this learning component, and then there's this resource component that help you get there. So really, when you come to the clinic, if you think of it that way, I mean, we're trying to feed the ecosystem. We're trying to grow the entire community and the entire network. And that's really the way that we think about programming and how we organize our event.
Kelly, I really appreciate you taking so much time to talk to us about this. And I learned so much just kind of hearing about your story. And so thank you again. If we want to find out more information about the Midwest Clinic, where should we go?
MidwestClinic.org, our website, or you can email me. It's kbell@midwestclinic.org. I will answer all of your questions. If you have any questions about the application process or the clinic itself, let me know. Happy to talk with you about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly. All right, let's get through day 3.
I know.
And then back home.
Yep.
Fingers crossed for the snow.
Safe travels in the snowy Chicago weather.
All right, thanks for watching, guys.
Bye, everybody.
We'll see you there.